What is going on? Welcome to another tutorial. I am the rum-soaked pirate, and today we're gonna be tackling the front door of a Land Rover Defender. Basically, for those that don't know, excuse me, I have a weird throat today. For those that don't know, I used to create 3D versions of Land Rover Defenders, exterior, interiors, parts and pieces for clients to approve. And so I'm going to show you guys basically how I would do when the model didn't have a good version that I can use for me to you know, sometimes the company would buy 3D models, but in this case they hired me to make them perfect. You know, they didn't want nothing off the internet that looked faked or gamey. So I'm going to show you guys what I did. So first here, I took a nice picture, a nice high-res picture of a door. If you can see, I can zoom in pretty close and get as much as I can. The next thing I'm going to do is I imported the reference image. I locked it up here. I've already showed you guys how to do that on my previous videos. So let's begin. The first thing you want to do is you want to bring in a cube. So once you overlay this here in the bottom, it's going to tell you what it is. So you go here, it says cube, here should say sphere, cylinder, whatever. We're going to start with this. So first I've made it into x-ray so I can see through it, and I'm going to scale this all the way up to match the height. Then I'm going to make it wide enough to match the width, okay? The next thing we're going to do, we're going to press F here at the top and we're going to tighten it up a bit because it's not that wide. It's something like this, okay? And we're going to press F here to focus, and we're going to delete this back face. We don't need this. Okay? The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to start inserting edge loops so that we can form, actually before we start setting the edge loops, let me show you what I do. So we go to edge, we take this one, and we bring it down to about here, okay? This one stays here, but this edge pops all the way over here, okay? Right there. If you can see, there's a line coming out right here. This one, you can actually bring it down to here if you want to. It's all up to you. But we do have to give it this shape here. I would approach by pressing and one here, pressing R to straighten it out, double click it and bring it over, okay, to about here. We're gonna insert one more right around here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this to vertex, press W, and we're gonna bring this all the way up here. So as you can see, this is where it bends down and across, okay? So far, if we go to our, this is the shape. This is what we need, okay? The next thing we need to do is, we're gonna have to be smart about this. So, if you notice, certain things, certain pieces of leather cover other pieces, and that's exactly how we're gonna work it. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bevel these edges, get that out the way first, because then it's gonna be a bit more complicated. We need this to be nice and soft. So we're gonna take all of these, double click, 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 shift up, click, 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 and click. Every time you see the plus sign when I overlay, that means I'm holding down shift. If not, you won't see it, okay? So we're gonna bevel these to get the basic core shape, okay? These need to be nice and soft, okay? And I think about there would do, okay? So now, you see, we have that nice soft cushion. Now we'll start working inside. We're gonna insert an edge loop here. We're gonna work our way down, okay? So from here, we're gonna press R, and we're gonna bring this up, okay, to about here. Let's bring it up more. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna insert one here. We're gonna insert one here. We need that right there, and we gotta straighten that out. Okay, we need that to be straight because you don't want anything else at an angle, and then you get confused. Okay. We need one more here. So we need one to match right here. Okay. Making sure everything's straight, guys. Always press R and straighten it out. You don't want nothing off. Okay. So now let's start moving some vertices around. We're gonna press W. We're gonna take this and we're gonna push it over. We're gonna slide that over and let that work for us here. Okay. We're gonna take this and we're gonna insert one more edge loop here. We need one here. We're gonna press R to straighten that out. Bring it over. Okay, that's fine. And we gotta bring these down. Okay, so you gotta press W and bring those down. And we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna bring this line. Yeah, we're gonna bring this line a little bit down to about there, and we're gonna bring these up. Okay. Try to get inside of the curve. Do not be afraid to get in the curve because that's we're gonna do our indentation. Okay. So don't worry about getting in the curves. So far so good. We need one here. Okay. Again, we need one here. Press R, straighten that out. And we're gonna insert one more right about here. And I think that should about do it. So I'm gonna switch to vertex. We'll push this one down in here. And we'll push this one up in here. So far so good, right guys? We got the shape going on. Now, we're gonna keep inserting edge loops to make sure that we have everything we need. But first, before we keep going, this one is very important right here. This edge loop here. You need one, actually, you need one around here and one around here. Okay. I almost made a mistake. I have to straighten this out. Remember, straighten everything out so that you know exactly what's going on. So you want that one there. And we want one right here. Okay. Right where this curves. The next thing we're gonna do is we are going to insert one right here, okay? And we are going to delete these faces. Q, and we're going to delete these faces. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drag these faces down. So we're gonna take this and this. And we're gonna drag it down. Where's my side view here? Let me press F. So here we're gonna switch this from side to left because we want to see this. Okay. So we're gonna take these edges and match them up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're gonna press W. Shift click and drag 1. Oops, what's going on here? Shift click and drag 1. Right here. Okay, make sure it's as close as possible so when we do the bridging, 1, 2, 3, and the last one all the way to the edge. Okay, right there. The reason I did that was so when we bridge, everything falls into place. Okay, so we gotta get in here, bridge that. So go all the way down to bridge. Oops. What did I do wrong? Hold on. Something's off here. Okay, let's try this again. For some reason, it didn't want to bridge up. So hold on. Let's go back here and change this to left. And let's try this again. Let's make sure that this is not already extruded. No. So we're going to do this again. 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and one more. And we're gonna leave that right around here. Make sure it doesn't surpass it. So What we're gonna do is we're gonna take edges and we're gonna bridge that. Press G, and that's gonna allow you to repeat your last command, which in our case was bridge. And so here we're gonna have to select double click and fill hole, and also at the top. I know I say sometimes a lot triangles are not fill hole are not good, but sometimes they have to be there. It's just avoiding them as much as you can, right? So now we're gonna take these edges and we're gonna bevel those two edges, okay? We're gonna match this shape right here. We're gonna bevel edge, and you're gonna see you're gonna have to fraction it out. Actually, let's do something else. Here we're gonna have to take this and push it this way. We have to take this and push it here, okay? And this, leave it right around there, okay? Now let's try this. So that makes more sense, okay? You're gonna add 2 and leave it there. And then we're gonna come down here and bevel this one too. And we're gonna stretch that out, okay? Not too much, just make sure we keep that edge. Now, I'm a bit nitpicky, so usually I try to push this to match exactly where I need it to go, because remember guys, we're trying to make this as equal as possible, so that when we do the leather, we try to sell the leather interior to our clients, we make sure that this leather, that this matches, you know, what you're trying to do, you know, what you're trying to mimic. You don't want them to say, you know, it doesn't look right. One of the things I also want to make sure you guys understand, when you're a 3D artist, micromanaging is not good. I'm gonna be very honest about that, because sometimes people can look at things and assume, right, that it's easy. And in fact, this job is not easy at all. This job consists of, if you want perfection, you gotta let me make perfection, okay? So do not be afraid to let a person know, hey, look, man, you know, I understand that, you know, you hired me to do this. Trust me to do my work. You have to be very vocal about that, okay? So, let's continue, right? So what we're gonna do now is, if we press 3 here, we're okay. Okay? This is what we want so far. And I'm gonna press the number 1 to go back to what we have, and I'm gonna keep on going. So here, we're gonna insert some more edge loops. Okay, we're gonna insert edge loop here. We're gonna press R, we gotta straighten it out and bring it over. And we're gonna add another one. We're gonna have to do some multi-cuts. As you can see, the line breaks. So we need one here and one here. Okay. So let's make sure everything goes across fine. Yep, that's good. And so what I mean by multi-cutting is, you see this here and this here, it should match up with what you're doing at the top all the way down. There's a blank here, so you need to take that, bring it down to here, and press enter, and take that red dot, connect it to this red dot, and press enter. Edge, Q, double click, press R to straighten that out. Now that we know it goes all the way across, we're gonna straighten that out, and here we're gonna straighten this all the way out. Okay, guys? Now we have a few more and we're done. Then we'll start working and separating. So the next thing you need is one here. Yeah, we need another one here. I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm gonna bring this one right here. Okay. And we're gonna move these vertices up, okay? We wanna make sure we match the shape here as much as we can, okay? Because the purpose is to make sure that you follow what you're seeing on the screen. Is it gonna be perfect? 100% no. The manufacturers made it. And sometimes even after what I've seen with their work, it's not perfect either. Trust me, guys. So these two edge loops, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna press vertex. And I'm gonna take these from here and I'm gonna tighten it up. Let me take all of this. And I'm gonna push all this all the way up here. Okay? And this one, I'm gonna bring this one up a bit. And this, I'm gonna drag it over. Okay? These need to be straightened out, so I'm gonna press R and push. Same thing here, R and push. The reason I'm doing this way, guys, is because I want everything to flow nicely. But you do not want too many unnecessary loops. I mean, these are necessary for the high quality that I'm doing. If you were doing gaming, they would probably just suggest that you do a square and but I don't like that. I really believe that reality sells. So we're gonna move some more vertices around. You know, I firmly believe that work should look as realistic as possible, especially now when we're in the era where Xbox pushed the limit. I mean, broke the limit that you don't no longer have to be driven by the limitation of when you game now. I mean, you don't have no limit because Xbox is allowing you to push into those, you know, high polygons, millions and millions of polygons. So companies have to be afraid. I mean, stop being afraid and trust you that you know what you're doing, because if you're like me, you look into the future, you find out what's going on, what's moving, what's not moving, right? And if they can't trust you for what they hired you for, then you shouldn't be working for that company. That's my honest truth. You're the artist. Yes, they're paying you a salary, but you're the artist. And I believe if you hired me to do a job and you found me competent for that job, you should allow me to do my work that way, right? So here we're gonna do some separations, guys. Okay? And here we have to be very careful. So we're gonna take this edge here, right? If you look at it, there's an edge right here. Right here. Okay? And you're gonna try to connect that edge all the way, cut that edge all the way across, okay? So we have to get rid of this. We don't need that, and we don't need that, but we do need this. Oops. Sorry. So let me make sure that I'm not digging into where I'm not supposed to. Yeah, I was, yeah, it was this way. So remember, now this piece here is separate. Make sure you follow it all the way across. Okay, just like we did at the top. Make sure everything's connected through. Shift right click, detach components, object mode, click, mesh, separate. Okay. You're gonna edit, ungroup, because you don't want to group a mess of groups and groups and groups. You don't want that. Next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna hide this part. We're gonna leave that for last because that part's done already. Okay, that's one big piece that's gonna come across thick, so we're gonna leave that alone. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna delete some faces and we're gonna detach some more. Okay, click, shift double click. So here what we can do is, okay, before we delete it, you press Command E I think it's offset. You know what? Yeah, let's do this. Let's give it some offset. Okay. Press Command E again and give it some thickness inside. Okay, this is what we need. Okay, more or less there. And we're gonna delete that. So now I'm wondering if I should have, let me see. Let's do this quickly to figure out if we're on the right path. Okay, and we're gonna do this. And we're gonna bevel that edge, see what we get. Okay, no. So I was right. Double click all of the sides. Make sure the sides. Don't select that one. Select this one. This one. This one. And this one. Let's see what we get. We're still getting that tight spot, right? Okay, so we are gonna have to double click. So here we go. That's our first indentation where we're going to insert the latch later on. Let's go to this one. Now this one, we're going to take all these faces. We're not going to delete nothing yet. We're going to come all the way to here. Whoops. And we're going to push this in. Actually, yeah, we're going to push it in. Shift, click, and drag. Hold down Shift, click, and drag. A little deep. And we're gonna bevel some edges here, okay? So we're gonna take 1, 2, all of those, 3, all of those, 4, and 5 here. Oops, and in here. Jesus, get in there. We're gonna bevel that. We're gonna get that out of the way now, okay? So we're gonna go like this, 1, 2, we're gonna fraction it a bit tight, okay, and that's done. Now we're gonna take this whole edge here, should wrap all the way around. Once we double click everything, no, we have to get in tighter. Okay, guess not. Okay, so we're gonna have to get in tight and select those edges that are missing, okay, and that's what we're gonna detach. Okay, we got a few more to click. Hold on. Let's make sure this corner's... No, it wasn't selected, see? Always check your work before proceeding, guys. Detach components. Object mode. Mesh. Separate that. Edit and ungroup it. Okay, so now we have this piece. So the way we're gonna work this piece is we're gonna modify center the pivot. We're gonna drag it to about here. We're gonna take those edges all the way around, and we're gonna shift click and drag inside. Okay, we're gonna make it as deep as it is here. Now with these edges again. We're gonna have to do the same thing we did before. Select those tight edges. So as you're seeing, I don't know if you guys noticed, so I forgot to mention, I'm working on a different Mac today. Today I'm working on my M1 iMac from 2021 when it came out with the M1. And it's a surprising little machine, guys. I'm only working with 16 gigs. As you can see, there's no lag. There's no problems. I'm also, if you notice, using Maya LT this time. I don't know if I said it in my last video, but Maya LT can be used when you can't afford to pay that big expensive Maya. Thankfully, they've created this version, which is LT. It is a stripped down version. You can do, as much as you can with it, but I wouldn't in any way discourage you from using it, okay? because it is very good. It is a good machine. Okay. I've have no issues with it. Everything's nice and clean. Everything works the way it should. So if you guys can see, we've got this part done. We're gonna have to delete some holes and bevel some edges here, but we'll be okay. So let's finish that, okay? Let's come in here. Let's select these vertices. Let's push them all the way up here because we need them to be in here. That nice and tight. Let's pop this in here nice and tight, okay? And so once you got that, we're gonna take these faces, this and this, and we're gonna push them in equally, okay? So we're gonna press W, shift click and drag, make sure they're equally pushed, okay? So right around there. And so we're gonna delete those. We're gonna bevel some edges. Okay, here we need some edges bevel, so we're gonna go here, edge 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and we're gonna bevel these edges. Okay, 1, 2 is fine. We're gonna push it out. We're gonna press object mode. That's good. Here, the same thing, but not as, you know, the purpose of me making it that thick is that when I take it to Substance Painter and give it the texture, guys, it's gonna be it's gonna look exactly how you're seeing it in the image. It's gonna flow. It's gonna get, you know, if you wanted to be even more nitpicky, you could take this into which in here doesn't have that many wrinkles, but you could take something like this into ZBrush, and you know, you can mess around with that, but that's a whole nother separate video. So this is done. I'm gonna hide this. Now we're gonna start separating this edge, okay? And pay close attention to what I'm doing here. So you guys see that has a bit of a lip. So we're gonna take this edge, we're gonna bring this down a little bit more, okay, to about there. And this edge, we're gonna bring it down, okay, a little bit more. Give it that curve that we see there, okay? Now, the way we're gonna work this is, and you're gonna find it strange, but it's gonna work. You're gonna take this face instead of, okay, first let's separate this. Detach components, and then we'll get to the meat and gravy. Mesh, separate. And we're gonna concentrate on this part for now, okay? We're gonna make that lip. How are we gonna make that lip? We're gonna hide this bottom piece. No, we're not gonna hide it. Let's just say you don't want this to be affected because it's making contact. You don't want to mess that up. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take this face, click, shift, double click, right, all the way across. Because it's a lip. It goes all the way across if you notice. And we're gonna press Command E, okay? Command E. And we're gonna also, we should thickness, I think. Yeah, we're gonna thickness that out. Add some divisions. No, you know what? That's why I didn't want to do it that way. So we're gonna insert an edge loop, mesh 2, insert one edge loop. And we're gonna bring that out, okay? We're gonna bring that out. And we're gonna bevel that edge. Add one more segment, and that should be fine, okay? So if we unhide everything else we're working with, okay? Something's going on here. Something happened here that I don't like. Okay. We're gonna insert one edge loop here, right in the middle. You're gonna press W, we're gonna bring it out. And we're gonna bevel that edge. And then this edge, And bevel that edge, but tight, okay? That's very important because now if we unhide the pieces we're working with, let me ungroup this, edit, ungroup all of this. I don't want no groups. So everything that we're working with falls into place, okay? If I was to press 3 here, that looks like a nice piece of folded leather, right? That's what we're trying to get at. That's exactly what we're trying to get at, okay? So here what we can do is, to match this up, we can take this edge, slide that edge down, mesh to insert edge loop. We can put one here, here, and here, and vertex, and all we do is match these up, okay, to the side of the face. So if we press F, we can see that let's slide this edge. I'm getting the oops. Okay, so what we're trying to do is making sure that all the pieces go like this, okay? We're gonna extrude this, so don't worry about this for now. But that's what we want. We want that lip. So now that that's done, the top is done, the holes are cut out, these pieces are cut out. We're gonna come down here. First thing we're gonna do is take this, detach, okay? Mesh, separate, click on the group, edit, ungroup, okay? We're gonna do the same exact thing we did here, okay? So what we want to do is we're gonna mesh tool, we're gonna insert an edge loop right around here, 2 tight ones. We want one here and one there, okay? Nice and tight. The third one goes in here, we press W and we bring that out, okay? And we can even just push this vertex back in, okay? We don't have to have it all the way out here, that's fine, okay? Now we take that edge and we bevel that edge. We add one more and we stretch it out, okay? Again, if we press 3, we have a lip there. So the point I'm making is these lips are important because then you're gonna know exactly where you're gonna have to insert your stitching. So you know at the top here, the stitching is gonna go right along that edge. And on the bottom, it's going to be in here, right? All along the bottom. So let's get everything back to 1. And let's continue working. Here, we have a bit of a situation. I'm going to show you guys how to work it out. So we're going to take this. Shift right click, detach components. Object mode. Q. Mesh. Separate. Click on the group, edit, ungroup. Now, this is the important part. We're gonna have to take this piece and we have to push it under here and curve it and then add a pocket, okay? So how are we gonna do that? This is gonna go just a bit here, okay? We're gonna look at the top of this now, okay? So we need this to be in here and we're gonna just take these edges and extrude them out, okay? So let's make sure it covers all the inside. Hold on a second. We're going to come here. We're going to hide in here. Okay. Modify. Send to the pivot. We're going to stretch it here. And we're going to push it up. Okay. And once it's up, we're going to push it back a bit. Okay. And now we're going to do these edges. Shift, click, and drag. Okay. Make sure it doesn't come through here. Just make sure it's hiding under there, okay? And that's the insert for the pocket, okay? We can see that right here. If you're ever confused, you can go to wireframe unshaded and we can look at it this way. We're gonna anti-alias this because it's getting on my nerves. It's getting very wrinkly. And we're gonna come in here and hide the grid. It's also getting on my nerves. So what happens here? If we press 3, object mode and press 3, that's not good, right? That's not what we want. We can take this, we can pull it out, shift click and drag. So right now I made a copy, face, click, and we're gonna delete that. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this edge and we're gonna take these edges and we're gonna do this. We're gonna tighten it up here and tighten it up a bit here. Okay. Mesh smooth. Let me see if this is how I did it last time. Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do. Object mode, mesh smooth. And let me see if more. No. Yeah, something's going on here. It's not working the way I want it to. Hold on, guys. Let me hide the pocket. So here, I really don't remember how I did this part, but let's see how we can do. Okay, let's just bevel these edges then. That's fine. That should still get us what we want. Bevel edge. Okay, hold on, guys. My machine is kind of stuck here. Okay, so all I did was bevel the edges. Give me 1 second. For some reason, my Wacom lost connection. I don't know what happened there. Hold on. They did do an update, so okay, I just unplugged and plugged it back in. So all I did was just bevel those edges, make an insert. Let me unhide the pocket now. Again, we're gonna push the pocket in here. Okay, but here we're gonna have to do a few things. The pocket is not that high, so we're gonna have to take these vertices. We're gonna push this down because we are gonna add a crease. So we need one there. We need one down here, and this one nice and tight next to the next to that one. Okay. So now here I'm gonna show you a trick. Okay, I'm gonna take these vertices, and I'm gonna be generous and separate them equally so they can have an equal amount of spacing each in between one. Okay. So now we're gonna push this in here. Okay. So once we press vertex, we're gonna take this. You know what I did? I kind of made a mistake. Not a mistake, but okay. This is the trick here, guys. We're gonna have to zoom in here. We're gonna take this piece and we're gonna push it in. We're gonna take this piece and we're gonna push it right around here. Okay. This is where we don't want it to surpass. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. We're gonna insert an edge loop. We're gonna take this one, push it in here, okay, nice and deep. And we're gonna insert an edge loop right there, okay? Why am I doing this? Because right now, if I take these vertices and I want this part to be a pocket, this is what I want. I want that to stay inside of there, but I want this to come out, okay? This is my pocket. And I want this one out a little more, just there. A little more, okay? Now what happens is, once I press mesh smooth and give it another subdivision, that's what I would get, okay? But I mean, should I leave it that way? Let me see, and press object mode, see what I get. Yeah, so let me hide this and show you what it looks like. Let me turn on the shadowing. So here we go. This is what we want. So we're gonna press W. We're gonna push this in a little tighter. Object mode. We're gonna press Command E and we're gonna pull this out. Okay. So about there. And that's what you want. Okay, you don't want it too tight. Okay, you want it just around there. That's fine enough. Where if in 3D you want to insert a pamphlet there, or your company pamphlet or anything, it's done. So now with these, we're gonna have to be smart and push some edges in. Okay, so we're gonna come here. Let me see if I can do, yeah. So we're gonna come here. We're gonna press, let me see if I should do it this way. Object mode, let's press W, modify center pivot. Let's try this out real quick. Let's push this in here. And then we're gonna press Command E and we're gonna pull this out. So that's what we're gonna do here, okay? Right around there. Not too thick. Okay, and same thing in here. We're gonna push this back a little bit. So W, modify center pivot, and we're gonna push this in. And we're gonna press Command E, pull the blue out to about where we need it, and that's fine. Okay, so now we have the thickness that we need all the way around. Let me turn off the shadow because it's slowing me down. Let me turn this off. Yeah. So you see, so we have it. We have what we wanted. This is exactly what we wanted. Okay. This one we have to command. We have to push it in. Modify center pivot. We're gonna push it in, and we're gonna press Command E. Okay. We're gonna pull this out. Okay. Let me see something. Okay, what I'm making sure is that this piece here, if you see it, let's press Command 1 and isolate this. And let's see what we're getting. Command E, and we're gonna offset. I'm sorry, thickness this. That's what we wanted. We didn't want it too thick, just thick enough. Okay. Command 1, and we're gonna bevel these edges. Okay, before we do that, we're gonna do something here. We're gonna take these edges. Let's isolate this so I can show you. So we're gonna take these edges here. Something's off here. Okay, we're gonna detach these edges, and then we're gonna delete those faces because it's becoming problematic. So we're gonna detach here, object mode. We're gonna switch to face, Q, double click these faces, we're gonna delete that. Okay, we don't need those faces, it's just extra geometry. So now we can take these edges, right? And we're gonna bevel those edges. We need to bevel those babies out. Okay. We're gonna bevel that out. Press Command 1, object mode, and we're done. Okay. So here, we should be okay. All I'm doing is training this edge out because something's not working for me and I don't like it. So again, guys, I'm very nitpicky when it comes to things. I don't like shelling out garbage. So you'll see that eventually something like this, if I press 3, it's okay. You see what I mean? So now instead of doing 3, I want to press mesh smooth, and that part is done. Press G here, that is done. G, that is done. G, that is done. G, no, this one needs to be reworked, and G. Okay, so we need to do some work on these two. So we're gonna isolate these. Command 1. We're gonna delete those back faces. We don't need them. Remember, all we need is the idea that it looks deep. Remember, I'm detaching these. Face and deleting. Okay. Same thing here. Object mode, edges. Make sure everything's selected. Detach. Oh. Detach. Face. Q. No, I didn't detach it, so let's go back. Detach. Face. Double click. Delete. And then edge. Let me see what I'm gonna press. Mesh smooth. I might have to toughen the edges up. Yep. So we have to bevel these edges. 1, 2. Let's press F to focus on what I need. 3, 4, 5. We're gonna bevel those edges. And let's try smoothing it out one more time. No. So let me tell you what happens. So in a situation like this, you have to tighten up all the edges around it, or else it's gonna collapse when you give it a smooth. So I'm gonna do this. Object mode. Now it should work. Mesh smooth. So that's what was wrong. If I press Command 1. So as you can see, it's a nice looking door. Okay. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna save it, and then the next video we're gonna UV this and we're gonna bring it into Substance Painter. So we're gonna finish up here doing this. I'm sorry, in the next video we are going, instead of we're not UVing, we're going to create the other parts. You know what? No, we are gonna UV. I'm gonna show you guys how you would make this look realistic for a client. How you can do stitchings. Okay. So let's just bevel edge. Add one more. Object mode. Mesh smooth. Command 1. So here we are. Everything's nice and tight. Here I would push this one out a little more. Let me see if it doesn't overdo it. So this is what you want. You want that bottom piece as close to that as possible, okay? What I don't like is how it's sticking out here, so let's push it back some more. So the next thing we can do is, guys, if you ever have that situation, you can take these faces, right? All of these faces, and I press B, right? and B is gonna take a certain amount of the mesh and move it like if it was sculpting, right? So you want only that part, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at this from this angle and get as close as you can. So like right there, right? Press B again to get out of there. Press object mode, and now watch what happened. So what that did was it gave you a bit of a pocket to be tight along here because you didn't want that separation that we had. Okay, this is good enough. Actually, we can pull more. Let's pull a little more. And so let's say you need the middle a little bit more. All you gotta do is click and drag in here. Okay, and we can pull more in here. So look at this now. If I press B and press object mode, it's nice and tight right where I need it, but it's not surpassing where I don't. So that's the cool thing about the soft sculpting, okay? You can soft sculpt in here and it will give you that result right there. So now, you know, you got the door. I'm gonna focus more on the next video on us UVing all of this instead of adding the hardware, because that can be a separate learning video for us, and you know we can have fun with that. Okay. One thing we can also do here, since we're not gonna be looking in here, we can take these edges. Let me see. Yeah, we can take some edges and delete it because we're not going to be seeing all the way inside. Plus, it's going to help us with the UVing. Because if I press object mode and press 1, you're not going to see besides there anyway. So let's press command 1 again. And one thing I'm doing here is another way of eliminating it is to select the face, shift, double click, click, shift, double click where you want it to end, and delete. Okay. Actually, it should have been here. Click, shift, double click, delete. Okay. Click, shift, double click, delete. And once we do the last one, we should be free to go. So click, shift, double click, click, shift, double click, delete that. And now once you double click here, voila. And then now we have to bridge this because I overdid it. Click, shift right click, bridge. Object mode. Okay, press command 1. The reason I did that is because nobody's gonna look in there. Number one, nobody's gonna look in there. I have to work on his face here. So let's take this. Let's press B and let's push that face in. W, because it's out too much. Object mode. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're good. So now we're gonna clean this up and save it. Edit. Make sure there are no groups that we don't need. No. Edit, delete by type history. Edit, delete by type non-deformer. Modify freeze, modify center. And we're gonna save this. In my case, I'm gonna save it here and then transfer it to my M.2 because for some reason this is not showing my M.2 as a. Let me see something. It should show me all my hidden files, but for some reason it is not. Here we are. So when that happens to you, all you gotta do is right click, show hidden files, and it'll show you. So M.2, it wants access, you give it access. Organize it by name. We're gonna add a new folder, and we're gonna create this Land Rover front door for tutorial. We're gonna open that up. front door. Whoa. Front door. Okay, we're gonna save that. Once that's done, in the next video, again, guys, we're gonna UV this and we're gonna texture it. So we're gonna take our time on that. We're making sure I show you guys exactly how I would do it. But as you can see, we have a nice looking door. Okay. If you zoom in, it looks as realistic as we can get. There's no issues where you don't have that form there. In most cases, guys, sometimes you can either, depending on the design, you can separate the leather here following this design. So that's why that's very important that you know, keep the form of the door, because some people want a shape here or a leather here and a leather here. But we'll cover that all in the next video. Guys, thanks so much for watching my videos. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, and let me know, you know, that you like what I'm doing. It would really help me out, help the channel out. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day or a great night, depending on where you are. Again, I'm the Creative Pirate or the Rum Soaked Pirate. Take care, guys.